Hello everyone and welcome back to the Beatles Tone's Beatles channel. Lovely to have you here. Thanks for joining me for this video and I hope you're all doing well. Now I want to make a follow-up video to the video that I made last week about the announcement about the new Beatles song Now and Then. Because there's been a little bit of movement on that. We've got a little bit more information about it. I don't know if you guys follow Sean Lennon on Twitter. People have been asking Sean on Twitter about this song, and he's given us a little bit more information which I'm going to share with you in a minute. If you don't know the story so far, last week Paul was doing an interview for Radio 4 here in the UK, doing a bit of publicity for his new book, Eyes of the Storm, and he just casually dropped into the conversation, oh, by the way, there's going to be a new Beatles song coming out at the end of the year and we've used AI to create it. And those of us with a cynical disposition might think, well, that is the best possible publicity that Paul could give for his new book, to suddenly just mention that there's going to be a new Beatles song, even though it's got absolutely nothing to do with the book. Now, I made the video on the information that we had at the time, and it's had a lot of views. It's had a lot of views, and it's had about 300 comments. I found myself repeating myself in the comments, so I kind of realised that when if you leave a comment, you probably don't read all the comments that are that other people have left, or my comments. So I just kind of wanted to talk about the things that I was saying to people, because basically most people were very happy about this news, and why wouldn't you be? Why wouldn't you be? We're all Beatles fans. We've just been told we're getting a new Beatles song. Why wouldn't you be happy about it? But we are Beatles fans, and Beatles fans will find an angle. Whatever the news is, they will find an angle to be skeptical or to be negative about it. It happens. That is human nature. Some people are positive, some people are negative. That is human nature. We have to accept that. And it's kind of the negative comments that I wanted to sort of address. So there was the two main things that people were kind of negative about was, firstly, the song. So although Paul didn't actually say what the song was, the smart money was on that it was going to be the song Now and Then, which was one of 4 songs that Yoko gave Paul on cassette. John Lennon demos on cassette were given to Paul by Yoko back in the early 1990s, and they were, we know the story. They were, one of them was Free as a Bird, one of them was Real Life. They worked on them during the Anthology project, and they would put out singles, and they were on Anthology 1 and Anthology 2 respectively. Now, the song Now and Then, which was mooted for Anthology 3, was scrapped. It was abandoned. There were various reasons why it was abandoned, and I think in my video, I said it was abandoned because George thought it was rubbish, which was a little bit misleading, I think, because the problem that George had with the work that they did on Now and Then was that the demo had this hum on it, a buzz on the demo, which they couldn't really get rid of. Now, the other 2 demos weren't perfect either. They were just home recordings on a cassette. But back in the 90s, they were able to do some cleaning up. The 1990s weren't the dark ages, and Jeff Lynne did a pretty good job of cleaning up Free as a Bird and Real Love. But there wasn't the technology to do the same with Now and Then, so they worked on it a little bit. I think they created a backing track and they put it to one side and decided they weren't going to be able to make the sound good enough to be released on a Beatles album. It wasn't going to be up to that sort of standard, so it was kind of shelved. Now, so the main thing that people were judging the song Now and Then on, they were saying, well, why have they given us Now and Then? It's no good. But they're kind of judging this on a rough old demo that they've heard on a bootleg, or they've heard on YouTube taken from a bootleg, and that isn't going to be anything like what we are going to get at the end whenever it comes this year. We're presuming it will be around Christmas time, I expect, because I just didn't think that this was the right time to say Now and Then is a rubbish song. People were saying, I wish it had been Carnival of Light, which, Carnival of Light, not even a proper song. It's just tape loops and noises and, sound effects and all that sort of thing. It goes on for 40 minutes, and when we do get it, if we do eventually get it, it's the sort of thing that you might play once and then never go back to. It's going to be more in the sort of domain of something like Revolution 9, or maybe something off of Two Virgins or Life with the Lions. It's not a proper song. Now and Then is a proper song, and that is the right choice to make, as far as I'm concerned. So I think that when we actually hear what the Beatles have done with this demo, what they've created around it, that is the time to judge whether Now and Then is the right song or it's the wrong song, because it's either going to be really good, or it's going to be really rubbish, or it's going to be a bit meh. There's only three choices. It's going to be one of those things, but I don't think now is the time to be negative about the song choice. Let's do that when we've heard the finished version. I think that is probably the sensible way to go on this. I think at the end of the day, we've just really got to trust Paul and Ringo and whoever it is who is producing this song. I presume that it's Jeff Lynne, but it could be Giles Martin. But as far as Paul and Ringo goes, when it comes to making a really good pop record, their record kind of stands up for itself. So I think if this wasn't a song that they were proud of, then I don't think it would be seeing the light of day. So I think, let's just wait and see what it is that they've done with this song and judge it then rather than now. Now, the second thing that people weren't happy about was the fact that Paul had mentioned that, that they'd used AI on it. Now, I understand the concerns of AI. We have been absolutely bombarded on YouTube with these fake videos of, different artists singing songs that they never ever sang. The sort of thing. Elvis sings the hits of Gary Glitter, or Paul McCartney sings Good Vibrations, or, Satisfaction, or something like that. And, we... as grown-ups, we kind of know that these things that are coming out are, they're just bits of fun. They're just people experimenting. But I understand why people are concerned about them, because it's not the now that these are going to be detrimental. It could be in 20 years' time. 20 years' time, some kids can be rooting around on YouTube and find these things, and they might actually think that Elvis did sing the hits of Gary Glitter. By the way, I don't actually think that there is a video out there of Elvis singing the hits of Gary Glitter. It's just an extreme example that I've just made up for the benefit of explanation. But that's the kind of thing that people might be worried about, that they may think that these fake AI videos are actually real songs, and and of course they're not, and that kind of distorts history and that sort of thing. So that's what people are a little bit cross about. But AI kind of moves in mysterious ways and in lots of different ways. Kids are using AI to write their essays for homework. Write me an essay, about the Bay of Pigs or something like that, and a minute later they've got an essay that they can copy and paste and hand it in as their own homework. Or you can say to it, write me a song about, I don't know, daffodils or something like that, and within about a minute you've got 3 verses and a chorus. Though that's another aspect of AI. But the AI that we're talking about being used on this song is the AI, the MAL, the mechanical audio learning that was invented by Peter Jackson's team during the making of the Get Back documentary series. And the brilliant thing about this bit of software that they've created is it is able to recognise an instrument. It can recognise a kick drum or a snare drum or a guitar or a bass guitar or whatever, and once you are able to recognise that, you can isolate it and do what you want with it. So in the Get Back movie, for example, it was used a lot when we wanted to hear conversations. So, for example, if John and Paul are sitting there having a conversation, but George is in the background and he's whittling about on his guitar, you can't hear what John and Paul are saying. So they can tell the software, right, that is a guitar, get rid of it, and now we can hear John and Paul. And that is the kind of thing that was then passed on to Giles Martin when he did the Revolver remix, and it's the thing that they will use going backwards for the rest of the Beatles catalogue, because as you know the stereo mixes of those early Beatles albums, you've got this terrible panning thing where you've got music on one side and vocals on another, and and also they only had 4 tracks to work with, so therefore you had a lot of bouncing down where they would record the drums and the bass and maybe some backing vocals on one track, and then the guitar and some more backing vocals on another, or in some keyboards or whatever. And Giles Martin was then able to break down these tracks where the music had been, different instruments had been bounced down on the same track, and he'd say, right, I'll have that kick drum, and I'll have that bass guitar, and I'll have that lead guitar, and I'll put them all on individual tracks, because he's got a whole bank of tracks now, so he can do what he wants with it. And then consequently we were able to get this fantastic mix that he gave us for Revolver, where you've got the drums are in the centre, the vocals are in the centre, and other things are happening on either side on the speakers, and that's the sort of thing. And that is what they have done with Now and Then. They've been able to say, right, well, that is John Lennon's voice, and that's what we want. That buzzing and that hissing we don't want, so get rid of it. So they've been able to extract John's voice and only John's voice, and then they've been able to work around it, and that is a good use of AI. So that's basically what's happened. So now I want to go through what people have been saying on Twitter to Sean and what his responses have been, and there's been quite a few of them. I've got them here. So this first one is quite important. So a guy called Tony Rossamilia said, why is Paul McCartney turning John Lennon into an AI model for an unreleased song based on demo tapes? Are you okay with this, and did you reach out? So this is someone talking to Sean Lennon. Sean Lennon's answer was, that is not happening. All we did was clean the noise from the vocal track. People are completely misunderstanding what occurred. There have always been ways of denoising tracks, but AI just does it better because it learns what the vocal is and is able to precisely remove everything that is not the vocal. So it's interesting there, because first of all, when as I said earlier, right, we didn't know that Now and Then was the song, but it seems now that we definitely do know that it is Now and Then. There was a little bit of speculation. It might have been Grow Old With Me. It might have been maybe something off of the Get Back documentary series. There's lots of unreleased songs on that that would have been perfect for this sort of thing, because it would have already had all 4 Beatles playing on it. It just might have needed some vocals, or some lyrics or whatever, or and that's something that Paul and Ringo could have easily added to it. But it seems now that he because he's talking about the noise on the track, he is definitely talking about the song Now and Then. So there is now no doubt that that is the song. The fact that he said is all we did means that he has been involved in this process as well. So that's 2 things that we've learned about this from that one tweet reply from Sean. Now the other another one we've got is so someone called Anne-Marie said, "I've no interest in a fake Beatles song." To which Sean said, "I think people are deeply misunderstanding this story. The AI did nothing but clean the noise off my dad's vocal track. That's all, nothing else. The song was a demo Dad had recorded, and the other Beatles finished it off exactly like Free as a Bird, only the original vocal was a bit dirtier on this one, so they cleaned up the noise with AI. There's nothing fake about it. It is a new recording made by all 4 Beatles. My dad's voice is exactly as he recorded it, minus the noise." So there is something else that we've learned in my the video that I did last week. We didn't know whether all the Beatles were going to be on it. We talked about some of the songs that have been out before where it's been 1, 2 or 3 Beatles on it. We now know from this thing that Sean has said all 4 Beatles are on this track. Now someone else called Karen asked Sean something else about the song, and Sean said, "Hey Carolyn, I shouldn't speak too much on this yet, but I'll just say that the track turned out beautifully, and I think everyone will be happy." And I think with information like that, we can't really ask for any more than that at this stage, and we'll leave it until we hear it to judge it. I think that is the best way. Now why the song Now and Then? Why has Paul kind of been a little bit obsessed with the song Now and Then? And Linda McCartney once said, Linda McCartney explained that the last time that Paul talked to John, he had said the same line to Paul, "Think about me every now and then, my old friend." And the use of the phrase "now and then" from John may be the reason why Paul hasn't been able to just shelf John's Now and Then. So that is it. That's a kind of a little update of my thoughts about how we should be approaching it. Come on, let's not get all negative about this. Let's wait till we've heard it, and if it's great, we can all get really excited about it. Of course, the other thing that we still don't know is how this thing is going to be released. It does sound like it's a one-off thing. Let's just hope that it's not a download only thing. But other speculation would be, well, maybe they can use this, this new, Peter Jackson's AI technology to maybe clean up Real Love and Free as a Bird a little bit more, make them better, and then maybe it could be an EP. Other people have been speculating that there might be a re-release of Anthology 3 with Now and Then on it, as it was originally intended. But that's a possibility, but I'm thinking it seems unlikely, because why would we need a new version of Anthology 3? Because if you think about it, almost all the songs that were on Anthology 3 have come out as bonus materials, from sessions and outtakes on the White Album, Abbey Road and Let It Be box sets. So we've pretty much had pretty much all the good stuff from Anthology 3 already. So I don't really see a new version of Anthology 3 as being the format for this, but let's just hope it's not download only and it's a physical media thing. Okay, well, that is it. That's my thoughts. You please tell me your thoughts down in the comments. I'd love to hear from you, and I read all your comments and I will respond to everything. Okay, that is it for me. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you all soon. Bye bye.